Game. I just want to end the stream and go watch Turtles right now.
Turtle Power!
Frank Felker. Yes, it was supposed to start 8 minutes ago, but we were busy gathering material. Thanks for waiting. We got a hell of a show for you this morning. This is Lorenzo McCheese, PI, investigating what happened to Saturday morning cartoons. It's not only seeing what's lately happening to the medium, to the tradition, but it's also a soliloquy on days past. It's a requiem of sorts. But I am joined here today with my co-host, the co-founder of Lorenzo McCheese, Private Investigations. And
welcome everybody.
Frank Felker. I played Dr. Rockwell for 5 episodes in the 2012 TMNT.
Oh, that's
thanks
awesome.
for joining us. I'd send you a link, but I don't know who you are. I didn't watch the 2012 version, and I'm pretty sure you're Nigel. Good morning, Arlene.
Well, remember, Nigel doesn't have
alts.
He only has one account.
Yeah, he only has one account and 100 accounts. Anyway, and I'm also joined by Shabby, who you may know from Vestry, which in its own way could be a Saturday morning cartoon.
Heyo!
And Shabby also this morning, we were talking backstage, and he made this image.
That's
It's a round curtain. I put up a new one, and it's a round one.
Oh! And thank you very much for that, Shabby. And I don't think any of us will get any sleep anytime soon. And it is
next time I'll make you into Mario.
Mario. His name is Mario. Anyway, good morning, everyone. If you haven't got your Saturday morning cartoon fix in a while, we're here to do that. And who is Nigel? That's you, Frank. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear your nonsense. So I was looking into.
Be careful, he might block you.
Yeah, no, that's okay. He can block me, but he better unblock me. So I guess the decline of the Saturday morning cartoons started happening in the 90s. And one of the things I found interesting was one of the reasons for that was, at least attributed on Wikipedia, was the rise of no-fault divorces. I thought that was pretty crazy. What's up? Guess what launches within minutes? That's Vic King, ladies and gentlemen. This is the artist for Nasser, and I believe he's talking about Asile, which being about a lady running away from Dracula in a castle and taking inspiration from, I believe, an unproduced German film, is not really Saturday morning cartoons, but we're going to give him and Nasser all the support we can. Vic, if you want to post the link, I believe you're still a mod on the channel, feel free.
Oh, hey, Vic. And hey, Nigel. I see Nigel's also in the chat.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see you and Nasser succeed. So if you got the wrench still and I can't tell, feel free to post a link to that.
Vic King sounds a lot like Viking.
Yeah.
I reckon you should do something with that.
It's a good way to remember his name.
Viking. Yeah. Does he have a wrench? Can anyone see that?
I can't tell. Let's see. I'm gonna have to meet this.
Yeah, he has a wrench.
Okay.
Yeah, post the hell out of that link, my friend. Let's see. All right, but anyway, let me go into. All right, thanks, Plus. Will as soon as he gets me the link.
Right. So speaking of
Vic, if you want to come on and talk Saturday morning cartoons with us, I'll send you the link. We don't have much of an audience here, but we do appreciate everyone. So if you want to talk Saturday morning cartoons, and at the end of the show, we'll plug your Asyle project if you like. And I don't know if you've met Shabby before, but you guys can talk because you guys are both creators and artists.
I don't believe we've met.
Vic,
I have shite memory.
Vic is one of my favorite stories in Comicsgate because I remember finding him almost 2 years ago when he was launching something called the Extractors, and I thought the art was fantastic. And that project unfortunately didn't get funded, and he's tried. And Vic King is one of those guys that just does not give up. And I'm excited to see him launch this Asyle project because I think this is the one it's gonna get funded. So I'm pretty excited to see that. Yeah. Doing a launch show. Yeah, we'll go over there as soon as we're done with this, man. But yeah, I think Vic is going to knock it out of the park on this one. Anyway, so let me get back to the Saturday morning cartoons. So, No Fault Divorces. And Wikipedia describes it as, here, let me put this up. Let's see. The gradual legalization of no-fault divorce in the United States over the course of the 1970s and 80s, which prompted a spike in divorces and a desire for parents to make more productive use of their time with their children. Visitation periods for the secondary custodial parent often occurred on Saturday mornings and afternoons, changing the routines of these children from a steady schedule every weekend, which I find really interesting because... Oh,
because
which I find really interesting because a big part of the tradition for Saturday morning cartoons was to give children a reason to wake up on their day off, the first day off of the week. Now let's see here. Oh, we got Curious 2A in the chat. Hey, good morning, man.
Oh, hey, Curious. I've never even thought about that connection, but I do know that like there were like kids in school and they like visit their dad on the weekend or whatever.
Yeah.
I think one reason why I didn't become like the teenager who always lies in bed whole day is because I still loved the cartoons. So I had a reason to wake up.
What?
That didn't work. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like Saturday morning cartoons, reason to wake up.
They also started showing a lot of cartoons on weekdays too, like in the 90s. And then there was Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network, and they showed it any time. So,
yeah, and you know what's funny too. Talking about the divorce and all this stuff, and another thing that led to the decline of Saturday morning cartoons was the rise of adult animation, which it seems to be most of the animation I can think of today that isn't Steven Universe and that stupid thing is Family Guy and all this really raunchy stuff.
Are you talking about hentai?
No. Lorenzo, I do not have any alts, but I did hastily block you. I apologize. Unblocked, but please be nice.
I'm sorry about. Yeah, it's something we could discuss off air, but yeah, I wasn't trying to make any accusations. I was just trying to figure out. There was a guy who was really nice and like encouraging everybody to get along, and then something happened. The guy's account was suspended, and I just thought maybe Nigel knew the guy, or because he seemed to know me and a bunch of other people. The guy was friendly.
Yeah. Anyway, you guys can handle it out there. But
yeah. Yeah.
So the other thing with Saturday morning cartoons too is also the increased availability of home video services, hard copy. Now we got Netflix and stuff like that. But I didn't know this, but because I just don't really care too much about like the legalese and stuff like that. But starting in 1996, the FCC had a mandate that stations provide a minimum of 3 hours of children's programming. That's like actually regulated into the law for some reason. I don't know how it is in the Nordic country you hail from, Shabby, but at least in America, that's what it's like. And I guess to make easier content to fulfill what is basically an obligation at that point, a lot of stations went to documentary style programming. A lot easier to produce than animation, because animation, as far as I know, is pretty much a labor of love. It's not easy to draw all this stuff.
When did you see that happen? I see The Simpsons came out like on the debuted on as a kind of a segment on the Tracy Ullman show in '87, which wasn't that only like a couple of years later?
Yeah.
So that seemed to really become a thing with what you're saying with the starting with The Simpsons and then Family Guy. There were all these adult oriented.
Yeah, which again was like even Nickelodeon. A lot of guys were just kind of forging their own way, like Butch Hartman and the guy who did Courage the Cowardly Dog and stuff. These guys are like trailblazers, man.
I wonder if they had the same restrictions on Nickelodeon or if they could do their own thing because it was cable.
Well, we're going to investigate that more as we go in through this Saturday morning cartoon appreciation. I feel like this has been really dour so far. So Shabby's been on the show before. He's got Vestry, which if you were an enterprising sort and the opportunities were still there before the no-fault divorces, maybe Vestry could have been a Saturday morning cartoon. What do you think your comic would look like as a Saturday morning cartoon? What kind of concessions would you have to make creatively to get that going, Shabby?
Well, I think
because it's a very violent book, and I love it for that.
You know how basically you can do blood, but it can't be red. So I think all the blood I drew would be green.
Yeah,
for some weird reason, because that's like always the go-to color. I think
like androids, maybe.
Yeah. Or I think it's either robots or monsters. So maybe some golems.
Yeah,
something like that could happen. And probably my hero could not be ruined like he is in the book by those monsters.
You have any artwork you could show us?
Oh man, I'm actually working on something right now. I'll show you something from second issue.
Yeah, we'll share that in a second.
Let's look at something that wouldn't be allowed, probably.
Yeah, that'd be fun. This would be a fun segment. We're privileged to have Shabby with us. Investor 2 launching soon, and we should bring some comic creators on and ask them, what would you have to do to make your comic into a Saturday morning cartoon? That'd be a fun segment.
I don't want to show too much spoilers.
Oh, and joining us, somebody else who probably has a really good grasp on that kind of angle, Mr. Chris T, Hero Shack.
Hey, Chris, thanks for joining us.
I may not be such a great visitor, but I'm here.
I remember a previous week you had talked about coming on, and then I ended up starting the stream too late, I think.
Oh, bro, I'm so messed up. I forget when I'm like last night was a stream I passed before it came on. I'm just a mess.
Oh, that's okay.
So how you guys doing?
We're doing really good, man. Right now we're doing a segment with Shabby. We're asking him to show some of his artwork he's done for his comic book, and we're asking him to talk about what he thinks it would take to maintain his creative vision while making the content palatable to Saturday morning cartoon children's audience.
Ooh.
So it's kind of like a what if Shabby and Pickles got a deal to make their book into a Saturday morning cartoon.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Because Vestry is a rather violent and exciting book. And, we were talking about, the blood would have to be green. Maybe the monsters would have to be androids, that kind of thing.
Yeah. How do you dumb it down for kids, right?
Yeah.
Well, G.I. Joe factor.
Yeah, exactly.
I know that the first season of what was it, the Ghostbusters show? That was actually pretty scary. But of course, it only lasted one season that way, I think.
Yeah, Yeah.
I actually was censored already. In the first issue, I had a boob on display, and I was forced to cover it up.
Who censored you? Was it a service or an editor?
It was kind of like mutual decision by the publisher and the writer.
Gotcha. Okay. I work with my wife, and she edits everything I do, so I have to go through that Puritan factory there.
I'll be right back, folks. I'm gonna get some more coffee.
Yeah. I actually have a ghost character, and she's like just a silhouette, so you can't see any raunchy stuff. But I don't think that would fly either these days. So
well, nowadays I find myself pushing buttons, and then my wife has to like slap me around a little bit before I listen. But if you ask, if you ask for an F-bomb, you're not going to get an F-bomb out of her, but you might be able to put in like a secondary swear word, bitch, asshole, whatever the word is. But she won't let me drop F-bombs in my book yet.
Oh, okay.
If that's the real Frank Felker, there's a guy who did voiced Nibbler on Futurama, and he voiced Garfield for a while. And
cool.
Yeah, I have shit in there.
I think Frank Felker, he misspelled his name. It's usually Frank Welker. Starscream.
I see. Yeah, Frank Welker, not Felker.
Yeah. Anyway,
I need more coffee.
Yeah. Go get some coffee.
But it definitely is interesting to hear of Frank Felker as well. Maybe he's an alternate dimension version of Frank Welker.
Anyway, so we got raw shit. So if it was a Saturday morning cartoon, I think shit would have to be replaced with poop. What do you think?
Doesn't that just become shoot or darn or something silly like that?
It becomes shocks.
Yeah, it could become shocks too.
I like shocks.
Gosh.
Well, it'd be shocks if he had like electrical power.
Well, he just said shabby.
Shabby.
And they could become like his catchphrase or something.
You'd sadly sulk, just like, oh man, not again. and you hear like claps from the studio, just like, oh.
Yeah, have some canned laughter in there as well.
It's his catchphrase. He always turns to the camera and goes like, not again.
Not again. My axe.
Oh, shucks. He turns to the camera.
I don't know, because like in the Batman animated series, they could do a lot of stuff with shadows, right? So just imply the violence. So maybe someone stabs through him in like a shadow, and it's like, not again. Oh man.
Oh no.
I appear to be stabbed.
Right. Then, even though it's cliched, it has a certain charm to it.
Megatron.
Like some of these tropes did have kind of a charm, and I think that's why they lasted so long.
Well, Frank, we're glad you're here, but until you can learn to spell your name, get the hell out of here. Curses, foiled again. The term curses used to be used in text where profanity was considered appropriate, but needed to remain unspoken or specifically spelled out. Oh. That is a good point, James Hayes. I think that's actually the case. I've always loved Batman, the animated series. Don't believe me? Ask Lorenzo over video, James. Well, okay.
Do you remember Jankies from Scooby-Doo? Jankies.
So I actually never saw He-Man. Did he ever use his sword in that show, like to stab and impale?
To stab something? I don't think so. I remember him flashing it a lot, but yeah, maybe in the movie. I don't know.
He wasn't allowed to because it was a children's cartoon, and that was like a rule they had for that particular show. I'm not saying it never happened, children's cartoon. So I think he used it as some sort of like kind of a magical.
Yeah, like a laser sword, fire away.
Didn't he use that to transform?
Yes, he did.
Oh, okay.
By the power of Grayskull.
But that's an excellent question. I didn't really get a chance to watch that as a kid, and so I've caught some episodes as an adult, and yeah, I used to think And perhaps my parents used to think that he actually used the sword because they discouraged me from watching it as a kid for some reason.
You know,
I remember
enjoyed it
there was
a
like a
little.
Rambo cartoon, and in the cartoon, which is blasphemy for me, they had to like use their weapons in a non-lethal way. So they like shot a tree, and the tree would pummel over a helicopter where the bad guy was like escaping, and it would
Yeah.
take down the helicopter instead of shooting the helicopter. So, and this was like on the regular,
nice.
really creative. That's where you get creative.
Let me get some Saturday morning cartoons on the screen.
Can I ask you, have you
You're
guys
daring.
seen Movements?
Who?
It's called Movements, and it's this Swedish cartoon, and it has given me nightmares as a kid.
Newmans?
Movements,
Oh, Moomins.
Movements, yes.
Let me look that up.
I have never seen it.
Oh man,
Moomins. Let's see. Arlene has some interesting comments here. Let me get.
Yeah,
that
I
up.
just noticed that.
My children were watching Saturday morning cartoons as they were declining. They loved them all while their friends were watching Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network. The cartoons are very different, and my grandchildren preferred the old one. It was sad to see the Saturday morning cartoons disappearing. You know, that's a huge impetus for this show. Is kind of like I said at the beginning, is kind of like a requiem for this really like a very unique art form, honestly. The Saturday morning cartoon, you know, it was commercial as you could possibly get. You know, a lot of these things were just built to sell toys, but we got some really good content out of it, regardless of the commercial pursuits.
But you know what? I think that selling the toys that way was better than the way they do it now.
Well, let me ask you this, Chris.
Yeah.
How do they sell them now?
Well, now they just try to catch on trends and stuff, don't they? I mean, every toy seems to be a social statement now, and that's why toys aren't really selling. Man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think. I try not to be too negative about because I don't even like giving some of these cartoons free publicity. But when you've got some of these politically correct characters, and just speaking in generalities because there's so many of them anyway, it's not something like a little kid's. A little girl isn't going to want to buy like some sort of unattractive, like politically correct character. They want to. I mean, I assume they want to get have like a pretty looking doll or action figure or whatever. Not
well. What scares
most
me
of
is
them.
if mom embraces this stuff, child will embrace it, and that's what I've seen in a lot of these videos I've watched. Where, particularly, so I watched something about transgendered children. And the way mom was directing the child blew my mind. Like, it was almost like, no, it's all her idea, her being him.
But are they going to want to play with like
how to say and do and all that stuff? So if they say this is a good cartoon or whatever, they'll watch it. They'll be like, okay, mom.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I was just wondering if they'd like to play with I hate saying this, I'm not the thinnest person myself, but are they really going to want to play with a plus size Barbie or whatever, or
Yeah, I
this
don't know.
summer coming from Mattel, crackhead Barbie.
Are you serious?
It would be fun.
Well,
You could
last
replace
time, last time we did the show, we looked at the clip of the Steven Universe thing, and it was I guess this new trend of anti-racism that is vocally, proactively against racism, which to me comes off more as you will be made to care about our kind of viewpoint on things. We got Lorenzo Music in the chat, who suspiciously looks like Garfield and George Ori. Thank you for coming in, Lorenzo Music, voice of Garfield.
Yeah, the other guy who played Garfield.
But I think it's important to teach kids these values and stuff, but this came off more as taking a baseball bat to children and saying, you will care about this. You will care about this. Like, at some point, kids aren't going to understand a lot of this. So I don't support that at all.
And I'd like to take back what I said about Steven Universe, that I thought maybe the first episodes were cool.
Yeah.
I was speaking of Adventure Time. It actually successfully used the kind of a simplistic, maybe like a Cal art style. But in Steven Universe, I haven't seen.
Well, the
much
thing
good
people
of that.
don't realize though is a lot of kids will play along with all this social programming and stuff.
Yeah.
But there's still a core humanity thing going on. And the kids that right now like are in the middle school are some of the most conservative SOBs you've ever met. Like
Really?
oh yeah, wait till you see what's coming up. Watch the next 5 years. Because that's about when they're gonna start hitting 18. Man, I'm telling you, they're getting feisty. And it's nasty on them.
It's not all of them, but some of them are quite based.
Well, a lot of that's because they see these clips of Ben Shapiro owns college SJW socialists.
And this whole kind of woke stuff has become the status quo. It's not like before.
It's not cool anymore. Now
rebelling, against in the 80s, like in the 80s, Reagan was president, and it was cool to be kind of
I'll show you, Mom. I'll get married and have 2 children.
Yeah.
And real quick, once again, every time I get HG in my chat, HG is the most tireless mod. He's always appreciated. If you have a channel, get HG to mod for you, because that dude works harder than anyone else I've ever seen, and always appreciated here.
Yeah, he's. Oh, well, I guess I think I said that last night. I see him in a lot of chats. He's always contributing a lot to the conversation as well.
I want Pinky and the Brain and Roadrunner back. You know what? I wasn't a big fan of Pinky and the Brain, but they had a catchy as hell theme song that I could still remember, and I really like Roadrunner too. Meet me. It's
they
funny.
Might have Pinky and the Brain on Animaniacs, the reboot, but I've heard some. I need to check that out. Don't want to badmouth something I haven't seen, but I'm just saying the stuff I have seen looks like it could be very well biased politically towards one point of view.
My daughter, who's an adult, but she watches cartoons, watched it, and she recommended, because of my independent right-leaning political views, I'd not watch the new Animaniacs.
Yeah.
That's a shame, because they used to poke fun at both sides.
I don't remember what they poked fun at. I just loved them. Now it's all political. No matter what I do, I know I'm gonna see political. So
I heard they got rid of the Hello Nurse. Not sure if that's true, but I hope that's not the case.
It would make sense. I mean, that would be the woke thing to do. Yeah. Or to have a male nurse who's transgendered gay come in and go, "Hey, boys." That would be the thing to do, really.
Well, this has been catching the rounds, the Trump Cyclops.
Oh, yes, that's true. Yes.
I'm trying to think if there was anything before where they portrayed politicians that way. Because I remember Bill Clinton playing the saxophone, but that's not like anything.
I think it was still being made in the tone where the president could be made a little bit of fun of, but you had to show respect.
Yeah.
This was made in disrespect.
And mean-spirited,
Yeah.
Before, I just remember being kind of goofy because you had this president who was like, "I'm the hip guy who plays the saxophone," and they could have fun with it, but without I heard that they didn't have Monica Lewinsky jokes. They could have.
Is this too far off the beaten path to say that Clinton was just Obama 0.05? He was beta Obama.
Well, I think there's definitely a trend there with I think they called it the New Democrats or something.
Right.
They kind of took things in kind of a neoliberal direction. But that could be like a whole show in and of itself.
Yeah, it's not cartoons either, is it?
See,
I feel bad. We should be talking about cartoons.
I mean, this is all related. There's nothing off limits here. Because, like I said earlier, it's kind of like a requiem. It's a sad song for the departed.
Oh, by the way, this one came back to me. This is kind of going back to the toy selling. Have you guys seen the new He-Man toys? There's a guy who makes stop motion animation.
New He-Man toys?
I think so. I'm not 100% sure if they're new. But
yeah, he uses these kind of figures, doesn't he?
Yeah. He uses those. And
there's
stop motion animation, and it's so cool.
Yeah, there's more good stuff out there than I could ever even check on in my life. It's not like everything's just completely gone to crap. It's just you kind of have to look for stuff now that because everything's so fragmented. It's not like when there was only like 3 main channels or 4.
Right.
I don't even count PBS. Sorry, PBS.
Well, when Arlene brought up Pinky and the Brain and Roadrunner, if I say Pinky and the Brain, pretty much everyone can go Pinky and the Brain, Brain, Brain. And Roadrunner, what do you know the Roadrunner for? Beep, beep. You can boil down a lot of the attractiveness of those properties with just that, with beep, beep. Can you do the same with Steven Universe?
Who?
All those characters just kind of, and again, I haven't really watched hardly any of it. It just kind of all blends in together in my mind. It just.
Hey, thanks for stopping by, Arlene, and I'm glad you liked it. Let's see. Yeah, Power Rangers, not necessarily a cartoon, but they had the amazing theme song, of course. You could boil the aim of that show down real quick. TMNT. We always go back to TMNT on the show because, as far as I'm concerned, that's the only Saturday cartoon that matters and opened the door for a lot of this stuff. And, who could argue with the Turtles' success? In fact, I'm recently going through I got this for my birthday recently, but I'm recently going through this.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, the very first comics. This is the colored version, so I wish I would have got the black and white, but hey, it was a gift, and I can't wait to read it anyway.
Yeah, but the black and white, I saw it in its original. I picked it up, held it in my hands. It was the Awkward magazine size.
Oh, yeah.
Friend and I went, this looks like shit, and we put it right back on the shelf. And now I look back at that day. I actually met one of the guys at a convention. I think it was Eastman. It might have been Lard. Who knows? And I was like, told him the story, and he just laughed at me. I'm like, yeah, dude, I held your book for like 10 seconds. And because I was a Frank Miller junkie, I'm like, this is a ripoff shit. And boom.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it wasn't, and it didn't take long. It was like 2 years later, it was already worth a couple of $100. And I was like, oops, yeah, we let that go.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So you were right there as all this stuff jumped off.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I hated the Turtles for the first 5 years, and then they really started catching stride, and I started to appreciate them. And then all the reprints were out, so I kind of jumped in early, but not when it first came out. When it first came out, I was in New England looking at that first. I guess it must have been either the first or second circulation they did, and I don't know. To me, it wasn't impressive when it first came out, but they didn't stop. They just kept pushing it, and I guess there was enough of a buzz to keep it going. And obviously, we know there's no arguing their success, like you said. And I can't say I don't love the property myself. When it's done right, that IP is one of the best.
Well, one of my favorite things about it too is like, these guys were like selling the first copy out of their van. They were like legitimately the American dream. They had a vision, they executed, and they sold it. And
yeah, well, this was in Salem, New Hampshire, where they sold it to the owner of the store who put it on the shelf, hoping that he might sell them because he overpaid for them too, I'm sure. They were very local. They were great.
It's those kind of comic books that I think are often the most rewarding. I only bought like Marvel and DC for kind of a short period of time, and I think it was kind of past its time when I started.
Well, I think in comics it's different. I think we've forgotten that what made the classic isn't aiming to make a classic. It's somebody put something out that was unique and lovable enough that everybody fell for it and became a big boom. But, most of the things that they plan to be a classic, they might be successful, but they never hit that, like, whatever made Superman more popular than, Captain Marvel / Shazam, whatever made Batman hover over the shadow, whatever little idea sparked, and boom, you had Spider-Man. It's not like it was a new medium. It's just that sometimes things click, and when it clicks right, you get a hit. But when you plan on it and you try to make it a hit, I don't know, you kind of get Avengers Endgame. It's like it made money, yeah.
Hey, thanks for the 2 new subscribers. Got more content coming.
Excellent.
The Eastman and Laird in the TMT is kind of like this garage band mentality. Just we're gonna rock and roll, and success comes to those who really believe in themselves.
It seems like a lot of the comics
That's like America. That's like the American dream. It's the American spirit. Just kick ass because you love it, and then success will find you.
Yep, exactly.
It seems like a lot of the comic books are being kind of, the ones that are gaining attention, which is typically the worst of them from the big two. It seems like a lot of this just it's kind of like how there's conservatives who want to own the libs. There's libs who want to own the conservatives.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely on both sides.
And that type of stuff's not going to last very long, because what's liberal and what's conservative and all that stuff.
Well, I think we're either going to be blown away by Dominion and whatever big kraken that the Republicans have, or we're going to be blown away by whatever President Harris does. And I mean everything I said, just like that. Whatever happens, this country is never going to be the same after this election, I don't think, one way or the other.
It will be interesting to see what direction the cartoons and comics go in the future, because who's in office can make a big difference as far as.
Well, cartoons is one thing, but comics, we lead that trend. Whatever we the people create is going to end up being. That's the best thing about comics, is because they're so. Ultimately, they can be so cheap. This next year, we're going to do some online stuff with nothing more in mind than spreading the word and getting it out. Not making money, but just trying to get it out there. That's going to be the biggest thing.
Yeah, I think in the future, maybe people will have to, and I think it's already happening to a certain extent, but maybe people will have to crowdfund animation, get something decent.
I think the guys from the Dungeons and Dragons podcast do it.
Hey, that video is awesome, by the way.
Yeah, it is.
Wow. That's really well done.
Hey, what's up, Ray Thulu?
So is he using real stop animation, or is that a 3D app? Okay, so that's not simulated fake 3D.
Look at the image above.
Yeah,
wow, that's what that was. Holy,
that's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
And this is just something that somebody's doing on their own, like what I was saying with people could create their own animation.
This is where innovation comes from. This could be the next big thing for all we know.
So if you had a kid and you sat him down and said, "Hey, kid, would you rather watch this, or would you rather watch a cartoon about this lady telling you not to be a racist?"
Well, they get that all day long in school. They're going to want to watch the fun stuff. Yeah.
This literally looks like something out of a nightmare.
Yep.
This is scarier than Skeletor. And this is a dude with a skull for a face.
And even though I didn't really check out He-Man, and maybe some of that had to do with my brother. My older brother had control of the TV set, but there were cartoons, and my parents told me. Not to play D&D, and yet I watched the D&D cartoon. So kids are going to
what was great about D&D. Yeah, but what was really great about D&D in the 80s was, because of all that hype and hysteria, when you played it, it almost felt mystical. Like, we are in the dungeon of our friend's house playing Dungeons and Dragons, and we are dark and evil. It was almost like it made it more magical.
I just remember a church youth group trip, and that's when I first played D&D was with some Lutherans. And it was actually, I remember it was it's like a dice and a piece of paper, and it's like, wow, seems kind of a silly thing to be afraid of.
Evil man. You rolled the dice.
You didn't need to be an anti-racist to go on that adventure. You were anti-evil.
Yeah.
Let's see. So HG was asking about the Kevin Smith animated Netflix Masters of the Universe revival. So credit to them for doing animation, but I've heard some troubling things about it at first.
Well, Kevin Smith is involved. Sounds troubling. I mean, is there anybody who's he seems like he would be the coolest celebrity in the world, and then he gets behind some of the weirdest projects in a way that I'm like, you just sold out completely. Wasn't the ending of Star Wars the last movie there, wasn't that supposed to make everybody cry? Like, didn't you see a preview of it and was like, it's so good, you all will cry, and then we all get there and we're like, what the hell is wrong with Kevin? Like, you can go back and hear him doing the preview videos, and I get it. They probably changed something so it was no longer making him cry the same way or something, but he's such a sellout. If he's getting a check, it's the best project ever. Like, if I could get him to sell Hero Shack, you guys would hear how wonderful this book is, because that's how he is. It's the best book ever. You'd love it. Yeah.
G.I. Joe.
It made me cry.
G.I. Joe, man. Honestly, if you showed me a G.I. Joe cartoon, my first reaction would be, they made a Village People cartoon.
Now I feel weird because I actually watch that sometimes when I'm drawing. I find it on YouTube and watch clips and stuff.
To be fair, G.I. Joe was not something I really watched when I was a kid, so I don't have the nostalgia for it as much as I do the other property. But I just like to get in my jabs at the G.I. Joe fans.
I did get to buy G.I. Joe #1 right off the stands.
Did you?
I was in it right in the get-go from the Marvel one. When they started this whole universe. I think there were G.I. Joes before that from DC or something like that, but they weren't G.I. Joe. It was like a generic soldier book or something. But I was there, and they had the whole diagram of the headquarters and the ground on the inside cover. It was a big event. I want to say Herb Trimp drew it. I can't really remember, but I think it was him. Because I remember thinking he did so good in that book, but then his art kind of didn't excite me. But that book was just overwhelming as a kid. I remember getting that, and it was awesome. Marvel's G.I. Joe, the bomb.
Yeah, I don't remember much about the Hasbro G.I. Joe show, other than the characters seemed pretty badass from what I remember. And it's like it taught some good lessons, too. And from what I recall, taught about like bravery and.
Well, for a few seasons there, all those shows seem to have that ending. Like He-Man or Lion-O or Butch or whoever you were listening to. G.I. Joe, they would have that final wrap up. So Joseph went off to the woods today because he thought it would be a good idea to find a clown, but there was a psycho murderer in the woods.
It had nothing to do with the plot of the show at all. It was just this PSA that they had to tack on.
They tack it on,
Probably, I don't know if that was after they passed one of those laws to make cartoons educational.
You're probably correct. It probably had to have something at that point.
Real quick, I think Tony Todd is involved with the He-Man thing. I'm hoping he's playing Skeletor, because Tony Todd is an amazing voice actor.
Well, I'll give it a shot no matter who does it.
Yeah.
But when you say Kevin Green, I get a little, oh, no.
Oh, no.
Like some of the things people have done, like I tried to watch that Lost in Space reboot, and I was like, this is not Lost in Space. Like, they forget the things that made them hits when they were old. Like, does Kevin really understand what made He-Man cool? Or is he going to try to turn it into something else? Because whenever they try to turn these hits into something else, I feel like they kind of screw it up, and it just doesn't ever seem to work.
So HG says Mark Hamill is Skeletor, which, as much as I dislike Mark Hamill these days, he's a hell of a voice actor.
That's true. He can pull it off.
Yeah, I mean, he was the Joker, and he was the best Joker, really.
He's a good enough of an actor that can forget his politics when he's doing voice acting.
Well, he's very good at playing the villain, both in as a Joker and in real life on Twitter. Well,
and in the end,
wasn't real life.
In the end, was Luke a hero or a villain? I mean, I know that there was the J.J. Abrams fix-up, but I don't know. Luke was leading that girl astray when he was like just throwing that lightsaber away. He was,
early on, he was definitely a hero, but a flawed hero in the original trilogy. But
I was thinking he was a dick at the end there, though. Like,
he definitely was.
If a beautiful girl walks up and wants me to teach her the Force, and I'm like been on this island planet for 50 years by myself, I'm going to be greeting her. Not that I'm a dirty old man, but just somebody to talk to that isn't one of those.
And
Daisy Ridley is quite fetching.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
you
don't
know.
quite get the whole thing with him he tried to kill his what was it like his nephew or something? I mean, that's not the Luke that.
Well, that was the real problem with it. You can write a lot of good stuff with old characters, but when you ignore the base level, this is what the character is, and you don't really explain it. All they said was, I guess he was afraid of the power that this kid was showing. Ooh. So Luke is suddenly scared, and he doesn't ask Yoda or Ben or Anakin. He just decides on his own, I'm going to go F this kid up. But then he's such a screw up, he screws it up, and everything goes to shit.
Yeah, didn't he try murdering him in his sleep or something?
Yeah, well, that was the story. And that was the weird thing about the scene too, because I didn't trust everything that was said. I'm like, okay, is this slanted by, I forget Adam Driver's guy's name, but is he bending the truth, or is this
Kylo Ren?
exactly what happened? Yeah, Kylo, yeah. Or is this like, a serious account that Luke would not dispute in any way? It's.
Yeah, let's just think that there was some sort of unreliable narrator involved or something. But I don't know. I didn't see the last of the movies. Hell, I didn't even see the first of the Disney Star Wars.
I hate to barge you in on the 1 billionth conversation about the new Star Wars, but my guy sent you, and we were talking about crowd-funded cartoons.
Yeah.
So I sent you a trailer for a cartoon that's crowdfunding.
That one?
Oh.
Tell us more about this concept.
That's absolutely terrifying.
Is this something I can play without getting struck, maybe?
I think so, because they have the theme song. And it's a really good one.
Oh, it's Critical Role.
Yeah.
All right, we'll EFAP it.
Yeah, those guys have a pretty big channel.
I'm gonna sing over it.
They were always beside you, your nerdy best friends, and the DM to guide you.
Okay, so right off the bat, it's animated. Got some cool character designs. Already a catchy kind of theme song to it. I'm interested.
Right?
Did you hear the little lyrics in there? It's definitely about role playing.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah, I like the little
Critical Role. They have a really good
not a
channel.
fan of Critical Role. Well, it's interesting that they're even trying this concept, especially in the crowdfunded space. I don't know who Critical Role is.
It's a D&D podcast, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, the animation's great.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, this is the cartoon I would like to watch, right? The animation is crisp. It has detailed character models. It's expensive, which and there's, I think the story is based on like the games they played. So yeah.
I'm not sure if these guys like insert any politics or what into there, because I've only seen bits and pieces of there. But this animation style, I love that. That's how animation should look.
And they're not afraid to go brutal with it, since it's like by backers, since it's raised by them. They can do.
This definitely looks like it could be a Saturday morning cartoon for sure.
Oh yeah, it definitely does.
Screw these guys. The only people that get Wizard of the Coast approval are hardcore SJWs. Well, let's see if we can find the SJWism in this intro.
They rise from the flames for the battles ahead. Villains beware, 'cause
Okay, so the villains look cool. They got that mystery. They got that glowy light kind of deal. That's neat.
about to be dead.
They got a big old burly dude with an axe.
They got magic and flair. They got daggers and cunning. They don't see over there. There's a monster coming. Inspiration is waiting. Rise up, don't think twice. Put your fate in your hand.
I mean, I don't really know anything about Critical Role, so this looks cool to me, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm not turned away from it yet.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not seeing any SJWism.
Yeah, I mean, they could slip some stuff in there. This is just the intro, but
But you know what? I should
intro
say
does look
something
great.
here because I want to address one part of that. I don't care if there's politics and SJW in something if it's written very well and it's not a transparent wrap over of a bad story, anyways.
Yeah.
That was something like people accuse Marvel's classic of having social stuff in it. They don't understand. Even if it's there as a reader growing up, we didn't see it. It was very well written, so it was weaved into a story. And then if I disagreed with it, I didn't disagree with Stan Lee. I disagreed with something a character he wrote did. It was different. Now it's all like if you wrote it, you own it. So it's weird, but I don't care if they put a little something here and there as long as it's subtle. Don't beat me with it. You want to say that this guy's gay or that girl is leading the pack? Whatever, just write it well,
Yeah, if you give me a good story, then I'll give you the courtesy of listening to your politics, but I'm not coming just for the politics. You tell me a good story, and if I have to suffer through it, fine. But good story.
The story can't be the politics.
Yeah, exactly.
If the girl leads the pack, hell yeah, but make it make sense, right? Don't push it just because. Don't instead of raising her up, don't diminish the characters down.
Well, it's like the gay thing is kind of funny to me because, like, in life, I've had plenty of homosexual people, and I say it that way because male and female,
You've had homosexual people?
Yeah, work around me and had absolutely no problem. It just is what it is. They don't come in going, "Good morning, everybody. How are you? I'm gay," and you have to, there's none of that. And
Good morning. How are you? I'm gay.
Yeah, and they don't, they don't come in, and we don't go, "Hey, that's the gay guy over by the water cooler." No, it's it's life. It just goes on, but they act like, and gay is just it's actually the old thing. Now it's all trans. Like Joe Biden,
I guess.
Did you see the Joe? Did you see Joe Biden do the? I don't know. At least 37 people died last year who were trans, and we are honoring them today. And I'm like, but how did they die? Like, I don't know. It's a sticky story, but I'm like, you're talking about less than what, 0.1% of the people. And I understand no death is acceptable, but
yeah. Oh, we got Lorenzo back. He was abducted.
Sorry about that.
This king right there looks sad as hell. He's like, what am I doing in this cartoon? So that's probably his ex-wife right there. Turns into a snake beast.
Looks bad.
That's how all marriage is right there.
Maybe it's sad because he has to pay alimony.
Now it's your turn.
Well, that's interesting.
They seem to at least get the look and feel of like an old school cartoon, right? They got the music and everything. I mean, they could very well put some stuff in there. That. What were you saying about woke politics, Chris?
About which?
Were you talking about woke politics when I got abducted?
Oh, I was just saying I don't mind if there's some of that in there if it's written well.
Oh yeah, it's just I don't like being hit over the head with a message of any kind.
Well, I heard someone say Wonder Woman had some woke stuff, and I guess if I watch it and I look for it, I can see little things. But it was so not the story for me that I didn't notice it. And yet Captain Marvel felt like every 30 seconds I was being hammered with another image, another saying, another sign of "We are women, hear us roar."
Yeah, I didn't watch it. I saw some clips, and it just didn't seem like my thing. But of the Captain Marvel, but I thought Wonder Woman was quite good. I heard though that the plot was similar to some of the some other movies, but I enjoyed it.
Excuse me.
I don't know. I have low hopes for WW84, but I'll see it. I'll check it out.
I'm sure the acting will be quite good. Yeah, whether the storyline will be good, I don't know.
Yeah, the first movie was good.
I trust Godot, but I don't trust AT&T, who is really who I look at when this all goes down. And we'll see. I don't know. I'm just not as thrilled about sequels usually now that I know that they tend to suck you in and then change things up. MCU, I'm speaking of. They actually did this stunt where they, if you watch Marvel movies in the supposed chronological order, Captain Marvel was like, the second movie after Captain America?
Right.
Disgusting. Because that means everything is wrong.
Well, and they named the Avengers after her call sign on her aircraft.
Yeah, it's like, what? No, I don't buy any of this. Just get better writers, because this didn't work.
Yeah, stop. Who was it talking about this recently? I lost my train of thought.
They could have done something else, though, where it was far more believable. They could have incorporated a number of ways to do that, and they just did it all wrong. It just felt like when I watched Captain Marvel, and I've seen it a few times because we got Disney Plus for free with our phone, it feels like an episode of S.H.I.E.L.D. to me. It feels like a low budget, look, we're a superhero chick, and the writing isn't much better. It's like, what the...
I never got into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or a lot of those shows.
That's because it sucked, like Captain Marvel.
It seemed like they just kind of kept cranking out more and more shows, and I couldn't tell which one to watch and which order.
I watched for 3 seasons waiting for a real freaking cameo, because I thought for sure they'd incorporate the MCU. And I think they put in one of Thor that I think Sif was in one episode once.
Oh, Lady Sif. Jamie Alexander.
Yeah. And I know Nick Fury made one appearance at least that I remember. But
and Agent Coulson.
Yeah, but otherwise it was lame as all get out. It was just a bunch of bad actors pretending they were investigating stuff.
Oh, well, that's too bad.
Crapton Suckville. Yeah, she is better off not knowing. That's funny, man.
I think they need to play it like wrestling, okay? So she needs to do a heel turn and then come back as Ms. Marvel, regenerated, all new, dump this whole Captain Marvel crap and let that die off and find a new way. Because Ms. Marvel is actually more to the modern day wokeness, isn't it? Because, they want feminism up. Ms. Marvel, hello.
Yeah.
Hey, what happened to Monica Rambeau? Is her character still alive?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
So, texting.
Let's see. I think I have some set photos somewhere. Let me see if I can pull this up. Well, tell you what, have you guys seen this thing?
Yeah, I can't help but see it because people just keep retweeting it, but then they have their own fan-drawn version. And of course, I'm sure they're probably being... Exactly. And I'm sure those people will be labeled as misogynists and stuff.
I posted one where I stuck Captain Marvel. I didn't draw him. I just grabbed him off a clip art type thing.
Yeah.
And I put him with the phone. Just because I'm like, this is so stupid. That chick, I could believe that was a badly drawn man if you told me that was a guy. Those boobs could pass as a badly drawn man chest.
It's just so bad. This is not a professional drawing.
No, well, it looks more like a breakdown, and somebody said, okay, run with it.
Well, I get the feeling that Marvel wants people to just go and rip on this character, and that's probably the only thing selling his books is outrage.
What happened to her nose? Is she transporting something in it? I'm waiting for like a probe to pop out.
Yeah, I don't have anything. I want to be very careful. I don't want anybody to bully the artist, and I don't have anything against the artist. I have something against maybe their boss, though.
I would love to talk to the artist and find out what they were thinking. And if this is what they see, that's great, but
it's not good.
That might be the best of their ability.
Well,
yeah,
that is the best of their ability. They don't belong in Marvel.
That's the thing. Like,
and
that's not their
fault. Thing is, professional standards, and there's a billion people drawing. That doesn't mean you deserve a spot in a in a Marvel comic.
And like I know I'm working on my backgrounds more because I hate my backgrounds, and I'm looking at this background, and it's a real problematic with perspective in the way the bricks change in the background from kind of going behind her to almost coming from behind her. Like as you go down, see how the bricks kind of twist. It's distracting to me. It blows my mind. I don't know if you can tell, but if you look on the left-hand side of the image, there's perspective to the bricks at the top, and it changes as it comes down.
Yep.
And the last 4 or 5 rows turn into it coming from the other way. It's weird. It's bizarre to me. The top doesn't match the bottom.
Yeah. It's like, how did you do that?
What wall is made that way that's standing? That
what kind of MC Escher thing is going on here? I mean, this is clearly somebody that needs more training, more time in the oven. Not ready. You don't put when people aren't ready to operate on a professional level. The worst thing you could do is to give them the professional spotlight, because now this person who clearly wasn't ready to be published has all of Twitter making fun of her art. And that's just cruel on the part of Marvel.
So I have a question, because I haven't studied the art side of it at all. Is this one artist, or is it a penciler and inker?
That's a good question.
Because if
I
it's
don't
a penciler and inker,
save this.
If it's an inker, it could be a botched job.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, look at this right here. This isn't even straight.
I've done that before in comics just to try to make it look rough, but this is Captain Marvel, and she's not supposed to look like this. The wall does look bad, and
like they didn't even use a ruler.
Not at all.
like I'm sorry, but again, this isn't professional level artwork that people should be paying for. They didn't even use a ruler on the wall here.
See, I can buy that as style, but there's no style in the whole thing, so it's just.
Well, you say style, I say this is awful to look at.
Yeah, it is. It really is. Well, and when you combine it all together, see, I've seen artists who don't use rulers, and it can work if it's done in a style. But this is not the style. That's just mess up. It's not style. It's not.
It's rushed. It's very little care put into this thing.
To me, again, I don't have anything against this artist, but it seems like maybe this could be like a small section in an anthology or something.
Well, I think it was
indie comic, crowdfunded or something. But
yeah,
where everybody gets the chance, maybe there's 20 different artists in there.
Although there is a good chance that Marvel just feels this is the next level. This is the next thing to come. And if so, let's see them prove it. Maybe they'll sell 1 billion comics. I don't know. But
at least she's got the right idea for the hips.
Yeah, they're wider.
The stash is hanging off of the womanly parts of her,
Yeah.
The thing is that a lot of these companies will hire oh gosh, I don't want to use the word awful or bad, but I guess that's pretty much it. Not so talented artists, and then they'll say, "Well, what do you don't like this? You don't respect body positivity." They're presenting this as though this is the average woman's going to be able to identify with it. And I'm not a woman, obviously, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, no, Diana saw it and thought that was totally hot chick. She said that's perfect chick.
That's a very handsome woman right there.
Yeah. I don't usually make fun of other artists, even artists that I don't like personally. I bit my tongue and it's, whatever, it's art. But this particular piece has gotten so much attention, and I've seen it so many times now that it's like, okay, the chest just drives me nuts. If you told me this was the new Mr. Captain Marvel, I would believe that was just a badly drawn male chest. I would believe that maybe, okay, dude looks a little bit like a girl, but I buy it. But no, this is Carol, isn't it? She's gone through some stuff here.
I think that's Carl.
I think Carol got beat up by the Hulk, and she's swollen in the nose. And
this is like facial reconstruction surgery after physical trauma.
Oh man!
I remember that they used that term "Carl Manvers." Not Marvel, but
where's the light source? Where's the light source on the face? It starts off light towards the split in the hair, and then it gets darker. and there's like a spot on the chin for some reason, and like what is going on with this?
I'm gonna feel really bad if it turns out that they hired some kid in junior high and this was just like a one-off thing. Because I don't know anything about.
I don't either. It's
Mike,
Captain Marvel, so I instantly.
Yeah, I don't know if this is going to be an ongoing thing or if they just had some fan competition.
Well, what series of Captain Marvel has been ongoing? They go.
It's ongoing for like 2 issues.
Yeah,
no, like the last.
Oh, you mean like a proclaimed limited series? Like this is. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I was just joking because it just seems because they keep rebooting it. It's like they'll make a few issues and then they'll reboot it. That's my understanding.
Okay. All right, check this out. So one of the tricks I learned from artists is flipping, or so here's the regular way it is. Let's flip it. Does that look any better for like proportions?
It still makes me sick to my stomach.
Well, you know what? Honestly, it looks better from this angle somehow.
The wall actually looks a little better too.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just because my eye is so fixed on the other one. I'm like, oh, it's not quite as offensive. It's new.
It actually, I think it looks better immediately.
Yeah, but, it has a different feel to it with it this way. Yeah.
But I don't know. The eyes are like really off. They're different sizes.
Well, I'd like to encourage that person to keep on working at honing.
Yeah, don't let Marvel publish you until you get a real editor.
Or just ignore us. You're making I don't even know what their page rate would be at this. That's the funny thing. Marvel
like $800 a page, I think.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm joking. But.
Because I was about to say, don't give up the job. Keep it as long as you can.
Hey,
I have nothing against somebody taking a job.
No, me either.
Even if they're not proficient at it, that's their boss's fault. I mean, to a certain extent.
But if you can make $800 a page doing that, I'm biting my tongue because oh boy. Hey, call me when the gig is up and we can laugh together.
Take those fools for all they're worth.
Yep. Go away.
I see. Oh gosh, I have a hard time pronouncing his name. Havrohe?
HG.
But I thought that was interesting because I actually caught and I don't know if Scooby Doo that was the example he was using, and I didn't check into it to see whether it was really animated in overseas, but the new style for the Be Cool Scooby Doo, that I checked out a clip from that and just didn't like the style whatsoever. It just didn't feel like Scooby Doo to me.
I don't even know. I don't think I've seen. Is this like a new release they're doing?
Yeah, well, Scooby Doo Mystery Incorporated. That was quite well received, and I think it lasted a short, maybe a couple seasons or so, and now they got yet another Scooby Doo reboot, and it's I think it's a big step down for Scooby Doo. It's just it looks like everything else these days.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd bring it back to the Saturday morning cartoons. They were good. They're not now.
Are there Saturday morning cartoons now?
Well, this is like probably the closest you're going to get. I mean, like Image in
most of the cartoons.
Chat.
But most of the cartoons we hear about come from like Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, and things like that, right? Like,
yeah, this is from Boomerang, and I just don't think it. I'm just not feeling it.
Right, but I mean, like ABC, NBC, CBS, their old. What is that?
Yeah, kind of like the Lower Decks, that new Star Trek cartoon.
That's like Flash cheap animation, man.
Yeah, it's like the.
Yeah, this is.
Nope. Okay, so I'm skipping on that series.
Yeah, that looks.
Yeah. Fans can make better versions. I'm sure there probably is a fan who's.
I'm pretty sure you can probably find it already out there.
There's a Tom and Jerry movie trailer. That's interesting.
Is that like 3D animation?
Yeah, I guess.
I feel so bad for the people behind Sonic. They're going to get such a wake-up call when it doesn't do as well as the first one because the first one got all the... I know I went to see it just because I wanted it to be a success. It was nothing more than I was glad they listened to the people and made a better looking Sonic.
Yeah, that was a big thing. And some people had a conspiracy theory, which I usually kind of believe, but well, not with, I don't know, just referencing the show. But some people thought that they deliberately messed it up. So, but it wouldn't make any sense because they had to go and like spend what was it like?
Well, no, but think about it. That could be genius because they could have just done a bad roll tape, a bad demo, a bad reel, and then replace the model. They may have had the right model the whole time and just faked it. It could be a conspiracy thing, but I fell for it. I didn't care. I was like, you listen to the people. I'm going to give you my $12 plus popcorn and soda.
Yeah, what was that like?
It was a horrible movie, but like I would have watched it on a Saturday afternoon at a kid's birthday party type movie.
Oh, okay.
I took the wife to it, and after that, we were like, maybe we should go see another movie to cleanse our palate because it was good for kids, I suppose. Jim Carrey was okay. Sonic was the annoying thing you'd think he'd be, and you'd think you'd love him for the full hour and a half, but I don't know, he got boring. It was for kids.
Yeah, I don't like it when they're. I mean, it has to be really good if it's going to be human beings interacting with cartoons.
Well,
you know, I dislike humans, but
I felt like it was well done in that sense. I'm weird when it comes to movies that mix video games into the real world. Like I absolutely love the Resident Evil movies, even though they're some of the worst movies out.
Well, I've heard that Tom and Jerry, I mean, not a video game, but cartoon characters are going to be in New York, which I thought they did that with like the Smurfs visiting New York.
Sounds like rehashing the old plot box again, huh?
Yeah, but it sounds like there had been previously some kind of not critically acclaimed at all. Tom and Jerry direct to video.
Hey,
the past few years.
Jorge Grahovac, the guy there, just shared a link.
Oh, cool.
I didn't show that, did I? I clicked on it to copy the link.
Yeah.
I don't think
guys, check that out on your own time because I'm pretty sure we'll get struck for it here.
Yeah.
I'm just taking a peek on a side window.
Yeah. But I do have to get going, and we've filled about 3 episodes, about the length of 3 Saturday morning cartoon episodes. So I hope everyone got their fill. And our little soliloquy here. And Chris T, I know you got some crowdfunding efforts. What's the latest from you?
Absolutely nothing. I'm doing absolutely nothing right now. I took a break. Last of the Reapers is in final fulfillment. And then I'll be announcing something soon. But it's all Hero Shack related now for December. And I think I might be giving something away, but I have to approve it with my editor.
Yeah, so, and if you guys haven't seen Last of the Reapers, check that out because it has a character near and dear to my heart.
Oh yeah, I hope I did him justice. I had a lot of fun with him.
Oh yeah, I think you did, man. I can't wait to read it.
Yeah. Well, the picture of all the werebears together kind of gives you a hint as to where I'm going with it.
Oh yeah,
at least for the conclusion. Like I don't plan on doing a series with it. It's always supposed to have been a one shot. But who knows? Next year, there are some story holes that I want to fill up. So next Halloween, I might do that.
Oh, cool.
We'll see what's happening, and if there's any interest whatsoever in it.
I like the Reaper character and what I've seen of the werebear.
Well, a lot of it is really great stuff. It's just like I could have done it for, I could have gone on and on and on and on. And thank God I have my wife as my editor who said, nope, you're already missing your deadline. Let's go.
And then that's, that is kind of the cool thing about deadlines is it leaves more for the future.
Yeah, but I think the most valuable thing I learned is it's good to have someone behind you who will kick you in the butt. Because now I kind of see how some of these crowdfunding projects go on for 10 years, it gets stretched, and one little thing makes it go another 3 weeks, and then you're doing another week of this and that. I see what happens, and I'm just really grateful that I have Diana to like knock my butt in gear.
Yeah, you two seem to work together quite well, and so I'm definitely looking forward to my copy.
Dude, she
Back
feeds
to-
me. If I don't do well, she'll not feed me anymore, and then I'm screwed.
Oh no, you don't want that to happen.
Spider-Man 2000 stream win. Yeah, I might have to do a nostalgia stream. I might do a nostalgia series, just play through some games on an emulator and stuff like that. But it's been 20 years since my favorite PlayStation 1 game came out.
Is that when it came out?
Yeah, that was the yeah, I'd have to do like a playthrough / retrospective on that. I think it's amazing. But I think I'm buying Dark Souls today for my PS5 or Demon Souls, and I might start up a stream doing that later. But guys,
Yeah, have a good day, bro.
But thank you for joining me. Lively discussion. We lost Shabby Ed to take a poop, but this is the Saturday morning cartoon extravaganza on Lorenzo McCheese PI. Any parting words?
Well, if you enjoy the show, this alternates between Macca's channel, my channel. You hadn't done you. We're gone for kind of busy for a while, and so it's been on your channel the last couple of weeks.
Yeah,
because you're back, so that's definitely fun. And of course, I host Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern stream, and sometimes we do I Kind of Believe.
That's right. We did one last night
on Friday nights, but the time is hard to get consistent because of people have.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for joining in, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
See you guys.